Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing a very large used book haul. It's about, I think, 23 books from Mercari, ThriftBooks, McKays, which is like a specifically used bookstore. I went to one in Winston-Salem because I live in Charleston, South Carolina. They don't have that here. And then also just my local thrift stores. So let's get into it. Okay, so first we're gonna go through my thrift books stack, which is, it's pretty hefty. I try to stack all of the books that I have right now. I couldn't lift that and it was at risk of toppling over. Most of these I actually have already read because I love Libby, so I just get it through my library. I read it on my Kindle, and if I really like it enough, I will eventually try to buy my own copy. Some of these I haven't read though, so I'm gonna tell you the synopsis of the ones I haven't read. I may or may not be correct. I honestly have very loose knowledge of most books that I read before I read them. So first is Station 11, which I have not read. It's in okay condition. I think the spine's a little wonky, but I mean, it has the Value Village sticker on it still, and then also the thrift book sticker. This book is about a theater troupe after the end of the world because of, I think, some kind of disease. I've heard good things about this from other people. And to be totally honest with you, I watched the trailer for the show and it looked really interesting. I was like, oh, I want to watch that, but I can't watch it until I've read the book, as with everything. Hell Followed With Us by Andrew Joseph White follows our main character Benji, who is a 16-year-old trans boy who is seen as like the messiah of this religious cult that started the end of the world by creating the virus that like obliterated it. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I love Andrew Joseph White's writing, and the artwork is just gorgeous. I love it so much. The Deep Sky by Yumi Kitasai. I did not look up the pronunciation before I filmed this. I actually forgot that I had bought this book because my girlfriend has been reading it, so it was not in my book stack. It was in the nightstand, and then I saw it when I read it. I was like, oh, right, that one. But it is a sci-fi book about a girl who goes on a spaceship that's meant to like repopulate on the spaceship. Basically, it's like a bunch of elite people who are going to repopulate, but she barely made the cut and she already does not really feel like she belongs on the crew, and then a bomb goes off that kills a couple people. This isn't a spoiler, this is like in the blurb for the book. And then I think all heads turn to her. I don't usually love sci-fi, but I've heard really good things about this book, and I know this author also just published another book, and I was like, I'm never gonna be caught up if I don't get this now and read it. Next book in the stack is Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn, which is about a girl named Camille, or a woman named Camille, who goes back to her hometown with her very toxic mother because of a string of murders happening in said town, and she's a journalist where she lives now. And it just follows her journey there, trying to figure out what's going on, and then also dealing with all of the trauma of things that happened when she was a child. It was very good. I liked it a lot. I have read it, and it's very short and very enjoyable. And it gave me that like icky. Next I have Garlic and the Vampire, which is just a little like children's middle grade graphic novel about sentient vegetables that a witch brought to life, and then Garlic is our main character who has to go try and vanquish a vampire that is living on like the mountain by the village that they live in. I don't know, it's very cute, very short, very sweet. I've been trying to read more middle grade and children's graphic novels to kind of break up the other books that I read. I think it helps keep me motivated because they're just so quick. I'm just like, and they're very cute, and I definitely appreciate the artwork in them. I also read Garlic and the Witch, but yeah, look how cute they are. Next, I have Deathless by Catherine M. Valente. I have actually read one of her books before. I think it was Comfort Me with Apples. I don't specifically really know what this book is about other than it's kind of a retelling of Koshai the Deathless. And apparently Baba Yaga is in it, which was why I bought this. I mean, this has been on my TBR for a while just because the premise is just so interesting to me. But I want to do a reading vlog where I just read a bunch of books that center or have to do with Baba Yaga in different forms, like the, you know, more like folktale ones and then retellings and stuff like that. So that's why I bought this one specifically, but I have been wanting to read it for a while. Anyways, after that I have The Night Circus, which I have read. It's about a magical circus and the magical competition that led to the creation of the magical circus. I haven't been able to find a hardcover copy of The Night Circus anywhere, and I really wanted the hardcover because the library edition that I read was a hardcover, and I just like the cover of that one better than the paperback because the paperback edition has a different cover than this one. But also, look at the end papers. Ooh. I have Those Bones Are Not My Child by Toni Cade Bambara. I've never read any books by her. All I know is this was edited by Toni Morrison. That is enough to make me buy a book. It's a fictionalized book about the Atlanta child murders. And I think that is a very interesting period of time. But yeah, I don't really know much else about it. I honestly haven't heard that many people talk about it. I feel like I saw it on some kind of recommendations list for something, but I can't remember specifically what it was. Oh well. Next I have House of Hollow by Crystal Sutherland. This one was a really short read. I read this one, I think in the last month. I think I read it like a couple weeks ago. It's about 3 sisters who disappeared mysteriously whenever they were kids, came back like I think a month later, and their hair and eye color changed. And it just kind of follows the other weirdness that surrounds them and like the weird kind of powers they have and other things such as that. As you can see, it still has a Target sticker on it. So somebody bought it from Target and then gave it to ThriftBooks, I guess. I also read the other book by this author, well, the other more recent one, The Invocations. I have that one right here. And I really liked that one as well. So I was like, I want to have them both on my shelf. After that, I have Tender Morsels by Margot Lanigan. The extent of what I know about this book is about a mother who lives in her version of heaven with her daughters because of some deal she made, and then I guess the deal gets rescinded and then they no longer live in that version of heaven. They kind of have to deal with the world as it is. Honestly, the main reason I bought this book was because of the fact that at Ava Reed's book meetup talk that happened in Winston-Salem that I went to a few weeks ago, she recommended this book. It was like, she was like, oh, here are my favorite books, and it was a couple of them, and this one, I looked it up and it kind of stuck out to me. And I also got it because I bought all those other books and then I got 2 free books. So this was one of the free books because I was able to get it for less than like $6, and that's the benchmark for ThriftBooks free books. And then after that, my other free book I got, oh my god, was Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clark. What I know about this book, I have not read this book. What I know about it is that it is based in, I think, London, I want to say, where magic hasn't existed for like 100 years and then it starts coming back. But it mostly just follows the relationship between these 2 men who are a mentor and then mentee. I've heard very cool things about it. I've read Piranesi by this author, and then this author is releasing another book in October that is a short like novella based in this world, and then this book's 20th anniversary is also coming up in October, and they're releasing a new special edition. And you know what, honestly, I could have gotten this from the library. I could have, but something about it, I could not get this book out of my brain. Like every day I was just like, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I've never read it. I could not tell you a single character's name besides those 2, but this book has not left my brain. So I need to read it soon. Eventually. Next, I have the one book I got from Mercari, The Spirit Bears Its Teeth. And you're probably wondering, why'd you buy it from Mercari? That is like one of the worst places to buy books secondhand because you have to pay shipping, you gotta pay like 2 extra fees just to use the app, and you also have to pay for the book. Now, let me tell you why. Okay? So this is honestly one of my favorite books I read this summer. This was probably one of my only 5-star reads this summer. And this is a signed copy. this is a signed copy. And I saw it and it stuck in my brain. I did pay like $30 total, which is, for me, that's kind of a lot for a book that's secondhand, but it was signed, so I don't care. And it's gonna look so nice on my shelf next to Hell Followed With Us and Compound Fracture. So next is my McKay's used book haul. I try my best. Rip Little Pink Lion from Steven Universe Funko Pop, which, if you know anything about Steven Universe, if you've watched that show, if you have ever looked at the merch online, you know that the Pink Lion, his merch is the hardest to find. And that is the only character I want a merch of because I love cats. And I saw him on the TV screen the first time I watched it and I was like, I love him. I need something of him. And so I saw the Funko Pop that I'm gonna pick up off the floor now. I saw him in the Funko Pop bin at McKay's. They have this like bin of just loose Funko Pops. It's $3.95 a piece. I saw him and mine now. So yeah. He lives on my bookshelf now. And I love him and I'm not gonna take any criticism on him. Now to get into the actual books that I bought from McKay's, because it was actually a very cool experience because the used bookstore, the like bigger used bookstore in my town closed, I think a year and a half or 2 years ago. Had to be like 2 years ago. It closed, so it's been a long time since I've been to a used bookstore that I can actually like sift through the stacks, and so it was a lot of fun. Now the first book I got was Vita Nostra by Marina and Sergei Dachenko. And the thing is, up until the day I bought this book, I knew absolutely nothing about it. But the day that I drove up there, I was watching a YouTube video that morning while waiting to leave. It was a Clockwork Reader's most recent YouTube video, and I think it was something like the best and worst books she's read so far this year. And this was on the best list, and I never heard of this before, but I was like, okay, that's an interesting name. It stuck out to me. And then whenever I was at McKay's, I saw it on the shelf for $4. It felt serendipitous, so I bought it. I didn't even know anything about it. I was like, it's meant to be. Like, the universe is telling me to get this book. And it's about a girl who's vacationing at the beach and meets some mysterious dude who gets her to do these tasks for gold coins, and then she goes to some kind of really weird, dark magic academy. That's all I know. So I'm excited to read this because that just sounds like something I'm gonna like a lot, but we'll see. We'll see. After that is Sula by Toni Morrison. I'm gonna be honest, I actually do not know what this is about at all. I just really like Toni Morrison, and I really like these specific editions that have like the stripes on the spine, because I also have Beloved and The Bluest Eye in copies like this, and this is a book I've heard very good things about, so I picked it up. Next book, Axiom's End. This is also a book that I know nothing about because this was actually a book I bought there for my girlfriend because they saw it and were like, I really want this book. And I was like, okay, babe, I'll buy it for you. It was like $6 and it's like in very good condition. So unless the book is like absolutely awful, I think this was probably a steal. After that, I got, okay, so this is a tear on the cover that is actually my B. It wasn't like that whenever I bought it, but we left it in the back of the car while we were driving back, and I think it got mushed around a little bit, and then I forgot it whenever I grabbed all the other books out because, yeah. So this is The Prophecies of Nostradamus. It was $1.75, and literally it's just exactly what it sounds like. It's just the prophecies of the astronomer Nostradamus in a book, and I just have found that interesting because a lot of his prophecies have apparently come true, and I probably will read that at some point. We'll see. Now, for the books I am the most excited for that I bought on this trip, and also probably this whole haul in general, this is what I'm most excited for, is the old like 2000s covers of A Clash of Kings and A Storm of Swords from the Song of Ice and Fire series. I don't know if you would have ever seen my bookshelf, but I owned A Game of Thrones. I bought this a couple years ago for $10.80, at the old used bookstore. It's like half annotated. Anyways, I love A Song of Ice and Fire. I didn't realize this whenever I was setting up, but I'm blocking my entire A Song of Ice and Fire shelf. But yeah, no, I love A Song of Ice and Fire. I love Game of Thrones. I love Fire and Blood. I love A Night of the Seven Kingdoms. I have a tattoo of Balerion the Black Dread Skull. I'm very serious about it. So these have been on my book wish list for a while now, just because like I have the first one in this edition. This is like one book series I am very gluttonous about. I will get every edition that exists for all the books just because I can. And these, I've looked at them online, but it's always just kind of expensive, and I'm always nervous about ordering old paperbacks online because you never know what kind of condition they're going to show up in. And I have not had very good luck with ordering secondhand books through eBay and such, and then if they show up damaged, eBay doing anything about it. So yeah, but I got them. I was so excited. I saw these, and then I had to leave the store for like 10 minutes to grab the books that I was bringing into McKay's to sell out of my car. And then I genuinely came back in and I beeline. I was so stressed about it. I genuinely felt like someone else was going to snatch that up in the 10 minutes I wasn't there, despite the fact those books were probably sitting there for like 6 months. I mean, I don't know, but yeah, I was like, this is stressful. So yeah, I got them. I have them. I'm very, very, very happy with them, and I love them so much. That is all. Last but not least is the stack of books from my local thrift stores. This one, the first one, I actually got today. It is The Hammer of Thor in the Magnus Chase series. This is the only one I was missing. I have the first and the third one. This is the second one. But honestly, I don't care that much. I'm gonna probably listen to all these on audiobook because I'm currently listening to the whole Riordan verse on audiobook, but I like to have the books. They're fun to have. So if I see them in the thrift store, I'm gonna grab them. They're very cute. I have The Grown Up by Gillian Flynn. That is a short story. This is a short story. This is a hardcover short story. But I saw this at the thrift store. This is apparently from Book of the Month. Like, this was like a gift for Book of the Month members. I've never read it, but obviously I have read Sharp Objects and I really liked it. So I'm open to enjoying this. I'm open to liking this. I don't really know anything about it, but it sounds cool. Next one I got was, yeah, I'm just gonna tell you what these other three, I have no idea what they're about, but I've heard good things about them, so I got them. People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I've read one Emily Henry book, which is, it's right here, it's Funny Story, and I also own Beach Read. I've also heard really good things about this one, so I'm gonna be honest with you, I probably won't read this till next summer. I'm not a big romance book enjoyer, but Funny Story was entertaining enough that if I see Emily Henry books, I will buy them. A Man Called Ove, I think, by Frederick Bachman. Again, I've heard really good things about this. It's supposed to be about, I don't know, grief. And the only person on BookTube I've seen who read it cried about it a lot, and I love any book that can make me cry. So yeah, this is the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires. Okay, this is the last book by Grady Hendrix. Now, this is a book that I have seen in the bookstore for years and years, and every time I see it, I'm like, that looks like it was like the title. It seems like it was made for me specifically because I live in the South. I love books, and I love vampires. I love books about vampires. And then also, just recently, I was reading the blurb, and apparently it's about a woman in a book club who lives in Charleston, which I live in Charleston. But I have not heard good things about this book, but I saw it, and it felt like the universe calling out to me. So maybe I'll hate it, maybe I'll like it. Either way, I have a lot of empty bookshelves here because I don't want to say overestimated. I estimated in room for growth with the books that I own, and I definitely don't own a lot of thrillers or horror because most thrillers I read are on Kindle Unlimited or from like the library, just because I read them and then they just leave my brain immediately. So it'll be nice to have this at least on my shelf to pad it out until I own more that I like more, or maybe I'll really like it and I'll just be very happy that I own it. So yeah. Okay, we are now at the end of the video, but honorable mention for 2 books I got from indie bookstores. Thistlefoot by Jenna Rose Nethercott is another book that centers Baba Yaga in some way. Yeah, here are my credentials, by the way. Anyways, so this is another book that I bought specifically for the vlog that I want to film about Baba Yaga books. And I got this from Philosophers and Fools in downtown Charleston, South Carolina. Go there. It's a lovely bookstore. It's my favorite. And then I also got Thorn Hedge, which I have read. It's by T. Kingfisher. Obviously, I've read it. Oh, I have some stickers in here. Lovely. It's very pretty. Very pretty book. I got this one from the Book House in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Also, shout out there. It was a very cute bookstore. Definitely, whenever I visit again, I will go back. Okay, so I think that's all. I hope y'all have a great day.